Welcome! I am the Overlord, and this is a very spooky edition of Crack-a-Pack. That's right, the finale. We only have 3 packs remaining and our special trick-or-treat bucket, so let's see if we can get more treats today. Huh. Well, that's kind of weird. Usually there's some sort of like swarm of zombies or spiders or Eldrazi scions or something. But guess not. I wonder what happened. Oh well, no annoying things. Let's get the packs out of the bucket here. Let's see, we got our Theros, we got our Scourge, super old pack, gonna be awesome, and Magic Origins. So I'd say we open them. Theros, Origins, and then save Scourge, the old pack, for last. So let's see it. Would you look at that? That's why there aren't any zombies or Eldrazi around here. Our guest of honor, Ms. Liliana, has taken care of it for us. Isn't that a little nice treat? So she'll go ahead and give her a seat on the skeleton there, the skeleton hand, and let us go forth and start cracking some packs. Let's get those treats. Theros block. It's a lot of good stuff. Some monocolor gods. Or Elspeth. Or Thoughtseize. Ooh, how exciting. We're even starting off with a foil. We have Gainsay. Pay 1 and a blue and you can counter target's blue spell. So in Theros, the big theme was run a single color, and there's a mechanic called Devotion. So this is blue's answer to the mirror matches of blue Devotion. I wasn't really into the competitive scene, so I can't say how it stacked up. I know mono black was a beast, but other than that, I don't know how well Gainsay did. We have Kragma Warcaller. Yes, this was one of my favorites when I was first getting back into Magic. Minotaur creatures you control have haste, and whenever a Minotaur creature you control attacks, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. I made a Minotaur tribal deck. It was pretty great, pretty aggro, smash face. Had that Boros Reknor from Return to Ravnica in there, or maybe it was Gatecrash, from that block. Oh, and that was really good. And of course the Flame Speaker Adept. Whenever you scry, it gets +2/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn. So yeah, it's not too bad on its own. It's a 2/3 for 3, a little less aggressive for a red card. But then if you're scrying or you play one of those temples that we got in a previous episode, then it suddenly becomes a 4/3 first strike. And if you scry as an instant, it can be a great blocker for you. Advertisement. Have our land. It's a field, it's a plains, there are crops. Well, we will put the foil right down here. You know what? Let's keep the foil in Liliana's care right now. We will start things off. Will this be our first trick of the night or our first treat? Let's find out. Bam! Alright, a trick. There's lots of good stuff. This isn't terrible. If you're playing red-white or just have access to mountains for some reason, you can enchant it and then exile another creature as long as this enchantment sticks to that mountain. It's pretty good. For its cost, it's really great. 1 mana in white, exile something, super good. But the fact that you need to have a mountain makes it kind of narrow. Though I do really appreciate the flavor of this card. That is something that's really cool. So this foil, will it be our saving grace for this pack? Will it redeem the pack and make this whole pack a super awesome treat? Hey, there we go. That's quite the treat. It's a foil Temple of Triumph. I always appreciate a foil rare, and it is one of those temples we were just talking about. Enters the battlefield tapped, which is kind of a downside, but when it enters the battlefield, you get to scry 1, which helps you a lot, and you can add red or white to your mana pool. Yes, that is quite the treat. Thanks, pack, for redeeming this treat, and thanks, Liliana, for hanging on to that for us. Really giving it your blessing. This is great. Now we have Magic Origins. Oh yes. The Origins of Magic, which actually came out not too long ago. The reboot Origins of Magic, if you will. And there's some good things in here. The biggest thing, though, are those flip walkers. They're a creature on one side and a planeswalker on the other side. If we get one, I can show you, and it'll be quite the treat. Oh, and we have another foil. First, we have to talk about the Prism Ring. For one, you choose a color when it enters the battlefield, and whenever you cast a spell of the chosen color, you gain 1 life. If you like life gain, this is for you. If you don't, I don't recommend it. Next we have the Conclave Naturalist, 4/4 for 5, and when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. The enchantments could kind of do some damage in this draft format, so it's probably pretty good. Good tempo swing on your part. Ultimately, would have been better in the Theros block, though. Now we have the Gold Forge Sentinel. Speaking of the Theros block, this is one I remember from there. For 6 mana, it is a 4/4 flying colorless. Not too shabby. A little pricey, but hey, a 4/4 in the air, that's like a Sarah Angel, right? And any deck can play it, so not too bad. I like it. Have our advertisement. Dick. We have our land, it's just a tree. Yeah. I mean, it's a big tree, but it's still pretty generic. So we don't have the flip walker because we would have seen it already, would have been spoiled. But we could have some good stuff too. Let's find out. First we will leave this foil once again in Liliana's care. Is this the origins of a trick? Or is this the origins of a treat? Sword of the Animus. So yeah, once again, kind of a trick. It's not bad. But, you know, I have my 1 in foil for EDH. So for 2 mana down and 2 mana to equip, you can give a creature +1/+1, which isn't great. But when it attacks, you can search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So this was interesting going into then Battle for Zendikar, which is a landfall set. Lands entering the battlefield were important. In EDH or slower formats, you can get some really good color fixing, even when you're not in green, which is traditionally the color fixing color. I'm just stacking this up to build tension for this foil. We had a foil rare last time. Can we do a little bit better? Can we get a foil mythic? That would be quite the treat. Let's find out. Alright, foil Blood-Cursed Knight. Not too shabby, a foil's a foil, even at uncommon. As long as you control an enchantment, it gets 1/1 and lifelink for 3 mana. So it's either a 4/3 lifelink, which is really good for 3, or it's a 3/2, which is understated for the price. Finally, the super old pack. I'm not crazy familiar with Scourge, but I've done some research and there's lots of really good stuff. What would be a treat is actually an uncommon for me, which would be the Dragon Speaker Shamans. If we got 3 of those, or like, you know, 1 in a foil, that'd be great. Sliver Overlord is also, is it Overlord or something else? Sliver Overseer? One of those. There's a big sliver there that I'm sure one of my friends would greatly appreciate seeing pop up. Or Sliver Legion, maybe? So that'd be good. But let's go ahead and just take a look at some of these. Alright, so there were 11 commons. I forget these packs are always a different formula, and it's always interesting to kind of find out what it is. Some of them are like, oh, the uncommons are in front, and some of them are, oh, there's no land in the back. Arc of Blight starting off for our uncommons. You can pay 3, sacrifice it, tap it to destroy target land. Interesting, a fun way. I always like things that can destroy opponents' lands. We have Brain Freeze, a Storm card. Storm was a big mechanic. It's a very popular legacy mechanic. Super broken, super combo. And this one puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And then you copy it for each spell you've played before you played Brain Freeze this turn. And we have the Elvish Aberration. It is an elf mutant for 6. It is a 4/5. Tap to add 3 to your mana pool. And it has forest cycling for 2. So you can discard it to go fetch a forest from your deck. Not too bad. So what will this last card be? Will it be a trick or will it be a treat? Trick or treat. We have the Dawn Elemental. It is a 3/3 for 4 white mana. It has flying and prevent all damage that would be dealt to it. You know, I don't think it's worth very much money, to be honest, but I'm still gonna count it as a treat. It's not a huge treat, but it's cool because opening these older packs of cards, these really old ones, is always a treat for me, just to see like what Magic used to be and what the power level kind of was. So this was totally worth it for me. This was a nice treat. We should thank our guest, Liliana. She will be going now while we set up for the MVPs. There we have it. Across all the packs of this entire month, our game of trick or treat. There's been tricks, but there has been treats. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy treats, be sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends. You have at least one. And if you like dirty, nasty tricks, hit that dislike button and trick yourself into sadness and despair. And that's about all I have for this super spooky Halloween special of Cracker Pack with the Overlord. So go now, my minions! Be free!